Hi, my name is Calum Bayne and this is the video tour of my exhibition Stunts at Mansions of the Future. I think a lot of the work and the making process was portable, but I think that lockdown definitely gave me time to overthink things. And so I didn't really make too much at that time, but I did have time to think it all through. So when it was over, I did feel ready to finish the project and conclude it pretty quickly. In terms of thinking about how the work will be translated online, that was interesting because a lot of the images that I've printed from online sources, I've printed them so that they lose their sort of digital sheen, and the work in general I'm hoping will sort of resist becoming glossy again when it goes online. Hopefully it will keep its sort of roughness and the blunt edges of itself. Yeah, so I think a lot of the thinking around moving between past and present comes from taking Bothwell Castle as the site that the work operates around. That site is interesting because it's a medieval site that is fairly well preserved, but it's used as a dog walking circuit or as a backdrop for wedding photography. So I was sort of like looking at how that has fallen out of use and then been repurposed. So making the work, I've been trying to avoid being loyal to any sort of chronological timeline, and also trying to overwrite or override what should be historically valuable or important moments in time, like when the castle was passed between English and Scottish powers, or when it was no longer used as a castle and became, this dog walking circuit. In terms of being restricted by medium, I think what's important to me is that when I'm making something, I want the spontaneity to be honest and also be carried through to the finished product. So I shift through mediums without really thinking about it, and I think the tone of the making process stays pretty similar regardless of what it is that I'm doing. Hopefully with this work it looks really self-made, and hopefully the techniques aren't really something that people will think about too deeply. I think that making the work, especially printing off the images and making collages, I was hoping that people could see how they could do similar acts to bring home parts of history or parts of a location. I think the references to set design and theatrical sets is pretty organic. It started when I was looking a lot at theatre masks and also trying to make my own theatre masks, but for this show I didn't really want to put too much of a face to anything, or also have people think too much about their sort of immediate appearance and how that goes hand in hand with their identity. So I was thinking more about what kind of objects could I use that could allude to people feeling comfortable shifting into sort of an anonymous space, or granting them anonymous, or giving them room to identify themselves or not, through these sort of objects that could be prop-like and used to act something out. In terms of an audience making links between the work and my personal life, or personal experiences, I think that is something that I've been torn over for this show. Like, for a long time I was planning on including this cutout of a picture of my dog that I would walk around Bothwell Castle. But I decided to cut out elements like that just because I don't want this space to feel specific to a person. I'd like the space to function in a more shared way and to leave room for insertions from other people. So yeah, no, I don't think I'm too keen for people to make or to try and look for links between specific events in my life and specific works. I think what I like about pop music and film is the way that the references become so shared and so fluid in the way that they can move around space. So like a pop song could be totally monumental in your personal life and be tied to such specific experiences, but then it could also be playing in the background of a supermarket and you might not even notice that it's on. So I think I was thinking more about how could historic objects adapt that kind of flexibility.